At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Dan Juhl. He's going to talk a little bit more about our wind-solar hybrid project. Dan's just a tremendous leader in the renewable energy area. Really thankful that he's worked with Lake Region on more than just the wind-solar hybrid project. I'm going to tee up this short video. This is a GE turbine, a very unique project. GE came up a few years ago when this came online and did a video for us, and we wanted to show it at this time. And after the video, Dan will take over at that point.
I've always felt that electricity is the lifeblood of our society. Nothing works without electricity.
We worked with the Lake Region Electric Co-op in rural Minnesota to design the hybrid electric solar and wind solution. This gave this very rural community a low-cost renewable energy solution.
This is the first true solar wind hybrid of its kind where we've utilized this technology that we developed with GE.
Hybrid renewables are scalable from cities and towns to small rural communities.
They're very complementary on how they work together. We can harness both the wind and the sun in one project and bring more renewable electricity to our members. With this renewable technology, there's no fuel, no emissions, no waste, no water, and it's by far and away cheaper energy. It not only allows us to bring in the renewable energy for our members, but it also actually saves us money on our overall power costs. So it's more renewables, less cost for our members, and that's what they're asking for.
We absolutely need a greener, cleaner system. Hybrid renewables are our first step in the path to reaching 100% renewable energy.
Thanks, Mike. Notice he's the only one that claps for me. All right, well, Tim asked me to come and talk about a couple things here today, about the hybrid for sure, and then some of the work that we've been working with them on their storage programs. And I can just kind of start out for those of you that I don't know or don't know me. I've been around in the renewable energy business for over 40 years. I actually remember when gas was 29 cents a gallon, so there we go with that. But you know, I started. I actually built the first wind farm for Northern States Power in 1986 down on the Buffalo Ridge, and then started building community-based farmer-owned wind farms. Since then, I've built probably 40 projects since. And a few years ago, when we were looking at the development process and getting the stuff in the ground, and it was alluded to early by, I think John said it, that getting permits and transmission access for large projects is a real problem. Well, I kind of recognized that a few years ago and started working with GE to develop this hybrid technology to look at how we can combine these two technologies together to create firmer capacity, not just energy. Wind is just basically energy and very little capacity like Tim was talking about. And the solar is more capacity and not as much energy. So if you put the two together, you have firm energy and firmer capacity as a combination. And so I started developing this with GE in 2014 about. We started working on it. The first project was actually tested in India because that's what GE wanted. They wanted me to go there, and I said, no way, I'm not going there. But anyway, and so we worked through that, and then we were building the first one. I was going to build the first one up in Red Lake Falls where I live. My company was based mainly in southwest Minnesota for many years, and I'm from the Red River Valley in the Red Lake area, and my family and I decided we wanted to move back to that part of the country, and so I started developing a project up there using the hybrid technology. And while I was doing that, I got a phone call one day from this guy, Tim Thompson, and he said he had read it or seen that we were doing this because there was some press about what we were doing, and he wanted to know if they could help us out and build some of the infrastructure if we're going to be building these projects locally. I mean, we were looking at a couple of communities in the area that were looking at doing a hybrid project, and I said, sure, we're open to that. And so we got together and started looking at the numbers, and we were all open book on the whole thing, and Tim was looking at the construction part of it, but then going, boy, this is pretty cheap energy. And it is, when you do it right with this, the hybrid technology, we're using commercial scale technology, and the cost of the solar prices have gone down quite a bit, and you put them together and it really comes out economically really favorable. And so we started working on a project for him. And that's what the outcome is the project that you have here. And I recognized a long time ago, actually, and I think I was talking earlier about it to Derek, about when I built my wind farm, one of my first wind farms down on the Buffalo Ridge in 1997 or 8, the Woodstock wind farm. I built a shed for an office building, and I needed power for it because I had my computers and the lights and everything. And the co-op there, Sioux Valley Electric, wanted $25,000 to run the wire up a half a mile. And in those days, that was a lot of money, $25,000 to me. And so I called up my friend in Duluth, Elliott Bailey, and put up a small wind turbine, 1 kilowatt wind turbine, and I bought 500 watts of solar from Stano Wyszynski, a friend of mine from Detroit, that was probably one of the fathers of solar power, thin film amorphous silicone solar. And I paid $11 a watt for that solar. And to give you an idea, today we can buy it for 30 to 40 cents a watt. So from $11 to 30 to 40 cents is a pretty big jump, but that took 20 years. But at any rate, I put this up, and when I'm in my wind farm there, I'm watching what's happening with every day, the low pressure comes in, the wind starts blowing, and the wind turbines work, and I have power in my building. And then when the wind dies, the sun comes out, it's high pressure moving in. I could see, well, I still had power in my building because the solar was taking that load during the hot summer days, and the wind was doing the balance on the cold, windy days. And that's what kind of sparked the idea, but it took from that time until 2014 or 15 before the solar was actually economically enough there to make it work. And that was the culmination of it. And the other thing that we've been working on with Lake Region is the storage technology. I developed a system called Solar Bank, which I have in my home. And I built some for some of my friends, probably 5 or 10 of them out there. But I really wasn't trying to make a real business out of it very much because I was busy building other things. But what that is, it's a battery storage system. It uses an inverter and some batteries, and I built a control system that would allow me to basically, for the system to know when the sun comes up in the morning and when the sun goes down at night. And so when the sun would come up, my solar bank, which I had solar, I have about 4 kilowatts of solar and about 10 and a half kilowatt hours of storage, would take my home off grid all day long. And I would live mostly off the sun, and if I took any out of the batteries, I would basically go back on grid at night when power was cheap, and then recharge the batteries. And when Tim came up to look at our place, he said, "What's that?" And I told him it was my solar bank, and so that kind of got going on doing the storage program here, and I think that's got real potential. The hybrids that we're looking at building in the future with a company that we're working with now, we're looking at how do we implement storage into the system, and what Lake Region is doing to me is right on the mark. I mean, distributed solar is much more manageable from a technical standpoint if you're trying to manage volts and amps, and you can control it very easily, just like we control the water heaters and everything like that, like Tim was explaining to you. So I think they're really on the right path to save big savings in capacity and so on and so forth. And then plus the electric cars. The guys that we're working with on these hybrids are part of the automobile system. And they are very concerned about where we're going to get our power as we keep closing coal plants for all of the electric cars that are coming to the market. And I have an little electric Bolt too, which is getting a new battery. So it's not that the battery was bad. It had some issues, and GM put it under warranty and was giving me a new battery. But those things, the on-site storage, car battery storage, are all going to play into how we manage and use renewable energy in the future. And I firmly believe, and my experience has been, is that if we do use hybrid type renewable technology where they complement each other, summer, winter peak power providers, a little bit of battery storage, and some load management and of your homes and conservation, those four things, we can become carbon neutral faster than we think. And I think that's the road and the path that my friend Tim is on, and he's doing a great job. You guys should be very proud of the work that he's doing here. So,
We are.
that's it. Thank you.